Welcome back to the Noob's Guide to Self-Improvement, boys. I hope you're all doing better than yesterday. In this episode, we're going to go over the best way to find out and decide what area of your life you want to improve first. It might sound like a simple choice to make, but if you're not careful, you might end up spending months of your life doing something that you don't enjoy, or worse, take on too many things at once and burn out. Now, in episode 1, we went over the correct mindset to have and take with you as you begin your self-improvement journey. And if you haven't watched that, I highly recommend that you do. However, as you probably found out, the world of self-improvement is big. Like, it's basically infinite. Anything that progresses you towards a positive goal in your life can be considered self-improvement, and you can have pretty much any goal. As a beginner, you're probably ready and, super eager to jump into 20 different activities and completely change your life around. That's completely normal. We're always full of motivation when we hit rock bottom and can't wait to get started. But you should slow down and spend a little bit of time first deciding what it really is that you want to do. You're much more likely to succeed and, more importantly, stick to a new habit if you approach things in a more realistic, reasonable and slowed manner. The best place to start is with one thing that most strongly jumps out to you as being the area in your life that you want to change. This is pillar number 3, if you remember from last video. Self. This is you making your self-improvement journey personal. Now, you probably already know the main 1 or 2 things that made you want to get into self-improvement in the first place. For me, that was exercise, and I didn't add any other habits to my life until going to the gym and weightlifting had become a concrete part of my daily routine. Now, if there's nothing that specifically jumps out at you, I would advise against doing the typical, look at yourself from 5 years from now. At this initial stage that you're at, looking so far in the future will make you jump too far ahead and you'll just end up fantasizing. Instead, what you've got to do is think about the biggest problem in your life currently, that one thing that's been in the back of your mind and eating away at you for months, maybe even years. There may be multiple things for sure, but there's almost certainly going to be one that's really powerful and one that you desperately want to change. One that affects everything in your life and one that's making you really upset and really miserable. Social anxiety, your physical appearance, your ability to focus, your productivity, your relationship or lack of relationship with your partner. They may all be problems that you want to solve, and chances are that they are, but pick the 1, maximum 2 that stand out the strongest and focus on those. That is your most immediate problem and the thing that you should be putting your attention on. It's what you're going to get the most return of investment for focusing on, at least in terms of making you feel happier and more fulfilled. As a side note, if the problem is something like, I want more money, then you need to break that down into an actionable step. For money, for example, the actionable step would be improving the skills that will get you a better job or learning how to start your own business. If you've been following along, you hopefully have that one thing in your mind that you want to focus on, and that's great. Now we move on to the next step. What is that next step? Well, it's pretty simple. Get searching. It is literally that simple. Go onto Google or YouTube and type how to followed by your specific problem. How to reduce social anxiety, how to improve my appearance, how to start exercising, how to increase focus or productivity. Whatever the problem is that you've chosen to focus on first, formulate that into a how-to question and then start searching on how to work towards that. The best places to look, in my experience, are YouTube with highly reviewed and highly rated guides from people that you can trust, or forums like Reddit where people can post their own personal experiences and, most importantly, link to books or other videos that are, going into more detail on the topic. It's important to remember that on this stage, this isn't all that you have to do. It can be really tempting to get stuck on this sort of feel-good researching stage where you feel like you're making progress, but you're not really actually doing anything. After a while, you'll probably start to see the same names or book titles pop up, or for something like fitness, the same kind of routines or exercises pop up. Make note of these, as these will be the experts that you get most of your learning from. Now comes the main part of this stage. Dedicated research time. This may be a scheduled reading time where you read a book about the topic, or a scheduled time where you sit down and focus on a YouTube video or guide, not for entertainment but for learning. Once you have done this, we return to pillar number 1. Action. It's no good learning what to do, how to do it, and when to do it, and everything else related to your chosen area if you're not putting in the action and actually working towards something yourself. The best resources will set you actionable steps and challenges for you to go out in the real world and practice. And for things like weightlifting, it's actually quite easy to, pick up a routine and go and do it yourself. But whatever it is, you need to be incorporating action as much, or ideally more, than the time that you spend learning about it. Get a good foundation from your research and get a clear, precise idea in your head of what the next steps are, and then put the action in to start leveling up your skill. Start slow and easy. Again, we need to go back to pillar number 2, humility. And you'll be building up both the difficulty of your action and the time that you spend on the action as you improve and get better at it. Over time, possibly 1 month, maybe 6 months, depending on the kind of person that you are and the kind of habit that you're trying to build, this new action will become a concrete part of your routine, and you won't have to spend much, if any, willpower to actually do it. You'll also start to see progress, which is always the greatest motivator. You can then repeat the steps in this video to find the next problem that you want to solve and follow along the steps until that becomes part of your routine. And there you go. It's literally as simple as that. It may not be the amazing life hack, change your world in one simple step kind of video that you may be expecting and hoping for, but there are no shortcuts to greatness. If you are serious about self-improvement and actively changing the areas in your life that are causing you the most problems, you need to understand that this will take dedication and time and effort to do. It's called delayed gratification for a reason. Now we're going to move into the FAQ sections to hopefully answer a couple of questions that maybe I didn't cover in the main part of the video. Question 1. Can I choose more than one thing to focus on? Of course you can. There's no reason why you can't add 2, 3, or even 4 new activities to your schedule. But at all times, like we said, you need to show pillar 3, humility, and set the bar to an appropriate level for your experience. If you find that you're struggling to do these or feeling burned out, take away the least important new activity that you've added and start focusing on the remaining ones. Add that activity back in when these become part of your schedule. Question 2. What if I'm unable to start effectively working towards solving my problems? I get this. Sometimes you know what you have to do to start solving your problems, but you're just unable to do it. Maybe you can't afford a gym membership, or maybe your parents are too in control of your diet for you to make a decent change. The thing to remember is that there are always ways to get you closer to your goals. In the modern day, we are so focused on finding the best single way to do something that if we can't do that, we don't even want to try. If we're not getting the fastest rate of EXP for leveling up, then don't even bother training at all. Accept that you can only work on what's within your control and focus on maximizing that. Home workouts, for example, are effective if you can't get to a gym. Question 3. I know what I want to work on, but the solutions I've found don't really seem to be doing anything. In this, you really need to trust the process. Change can happen so gradually that we don't notice it when we're observing ourselves day by day. Things that you are doing are almost certainly working. You're just being a bit too impatient and expecting results to come too quickly. If you have honestly really been giving 100% and are being truly accountable to yourself, pillar number 4, then take a look at your method. Chances are there's something in there that you're not getting quite right. Change up the source of your research and try a different solution. There's always more than one way to solve a problem. I hope this video has really helped you find out what it is that you want to focus on first. The road is long and the journey is tough, but the rewards are literally life-changing. As long as you manage your expectations and accept that you need to put in the hard work, you can achieve anything that you want. You do not need to accept your current bad situation. You can change it. If you liked the video and want to see more in this series or just in general, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification button and like the video too, it really helps out. Until next time though, my name's Dan, and remember, always keep on smiling.